Do you reckon people are shifting? Like something's afoot, something's going on at large, like people are waking up? And if so, where does that fit into what the construct's up to, or what the angels and God and the different realms across the 12 different realms is up to? Is there something happening at this particular moment in time?
Yeah. And I know, like I said, I'm usually very light with this because I don't like to put people into hope and things like that, because I like to make it clear before I say what I say. None of what I'm about to say is a form of hope harvesting, or even putting somebody into a state of not doing something. Yeah, where like you hear something and you're like, okay, then I just do
I'm
nothing.
relieved. I can put my feet up. Yeah.
So that needs to be really clearly understood and explained before I say what I'm going to say. But this whole thing does come to a state of completion and remembrance of everything again. And that goes into, you said before, are we in the process of souls waking up, and everybody's waking up, and everybody's waking up. Everybody is going to see it. Yeah. And so I've shared this before, you're already getting disclosure stuff. And sometimes I would just be like, not really going to speak about that yet. Sometimes I'll share it privately with people, etc., just because I'm very careful with how to not put people in that state. Yeah. But yeah, there's going to come a time, and I say this with absolute truth in myself. You know, if people need me to, are religious or Catholic, I'll put my hand up, put it on the Bible. If you are, have other religion, whatever that is, then that's what I'll do with stating what I'm about to state, because it's, you know, there's going to come a time where things are revealed to people, and when those things are revealed to people will be a biblical event on many fronts. You're looking at races in a sense of individuals, what people call ETs, but they're not even ETs. These are beings from even the out of body state, like your angels and things like that, where things are disclosed in that way for people. You know, some of the original bodies, you could say, in Antarctica. There's an Antarctic treaty for many different reasons, and also one of those reasons is also hiding a lot of the pyramids, structures, you could say, craft that are there, technology that are there. And all this at some point will be disclosed to the people. You're going to even see a lot of the control structures to control humanity also start to be exposed. And they have been being exposed little bits over time, but like that's just going to continue, because where humanity heads is complete freedom. You could say a heaven on earth again. And that is the final event marker of what I know that will happen and come true. There are many different variables and potentialities of time of navigating that, but I know that is the marker, that is the destination, and it doesn't matter what happens in between that hits. And when it hits, let me tell you, it's going to hit hard, because everybody's going to see it again. You're going to get disclosure on the information of technology that has been suppressed from people for so many years. There's free energy devices that out there that have been buried inside the patent system. There's even technology that I've seen in my out of body state that they're actually using to this day that are still suppressed to the population, that would make humanity's life so much more easier. You know, when you talk about replicators and stuff too, even though we haven't talked about that. But when you bring up that term too, understand this, they have the ability, and you could Google search this, they have the ability to clone an animal. They've done this already. And correct me if I'm wrong. You've seen that before?
I've heard of this. Yeah.
Great. Perfect. Okay.
It's like decades old. It's like 10 years ago that's happened. Yeah.
Long time ago. And so they have the ability to clone animals. They have the ability to replicate food at you could say, the cellular structure, and replicating that food. And they have technology to make a true Garden of Eden on Earth. That's the technology that they have, physical tech. So all these things that have been suppressed, if you are able to clone a dog, you are also able to clone and replicate other things. Yeah, you're able to reprogram the certain cells within the body as well. And this is a technological front, yes, but the most important thing is what will be remembered again. And when we hit that state, is that your body is also that piece of technology. Yeah. And you could see why I stated in the beginning, I'm very hesitant to say things like this, because I'm not putting people in hope or hope harvesting or hope of something to come. This is just, yeah. There were certain like events, you could say, that took place in the past. And you could say what happens here is actually even more biblical in a sense than that, what happens. And like I said, I'm not going to go through all of the little details and hope this and hope that, but it's just everybody does at a point in time, and it's already happening slowly and slowly through all of this stuff. What happened 4 years ago, etc. It's being dripped out, and it's going to continue. Yeah. So it's, and there's a lot of stuff still being hidden from the people, but I based off the things that I've seen in the out of body, as I've stated, it's some things people won't even believe, and sometimes it's best not to even speak about it until it's actually showing. Yeah. So I'll just leave it. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, no, that was
in context to everything. And I know, the interview and stuff like that, and this is that, but like very, very much appreciate if that's still held within context. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Everywhere we look, we see 12. Everywhere we look, we see 12. 12 months should have been 13. You mentioned it yourself, the DNA helix. It's actually 12. 13. And I say 13. There's realm, there's 12, and then there's 13.
13, yes.
Yeah, so what's so special about the number 13 in particular, and why are we ostracized out of it into 12?
So I say 12 because it's basically, even though it is 13, but I say because a lot of people, 12 months or whatever, like they could, but there's originally 13 months to a year. There's 13 strands of DNA, scientifically what they call DNA. There's 13 strands of them. There's 13 dimensional structures within the brain. And the 13th is more of the containing field of things. And just like when you go through I'll just say it to make it short and concise, when you go through the 12 heavens, you also have the 13th, which is the container of those 12 heavens. Yeah. So everything from the originally supposed to be 13 months, is all perfectly mirrored off of 13 months, 13 strand of DNA, 13 realms. Yeah. So that's why I go back and forth between 12, 13. I say 12 is supposed to be 13 because it's 13. But some people are like, well, I don't get that. I just stick with 12 sometimes just to get the yes,
the point across. No, I appreciate it, because even like I was looking at a calendar for the year with 13 months, And the first of every month starts on a Monday, and it's just like everything just works super well if it was split into 13.
When I completely leave, I just want to make sure I've done everything to the best of my ability in that state.
Yeah.
You know what sleep paralysis is? When you train the body to do that, that is the very direct path to just you're out every single time. And that's so there's like two different ways that I teach that. I teach you how to do it consciously, or I teach that how to be triggered unconsciously, and then you're conscious, and then you pop out and get rid of fear and all those things. But like if you look at sleep paralysis stuff, man, and if that's the number one point, that if you get to consciously without fear, you will leave your body every single time.
And that's what you teach via a course, right?
Basically, when I host workshops, I'll go through them.
Are the workshops up there in person, or the workshops online?
Workshops are online now. I thought about doing it at some point in the future, doing it in person, and just getting like, but it would have to be about a 7-day or 3-day retreat or something like that, because like you have to get people practicing it more than just one day. And my goal with that was to get a group, let's just say 10 people that I know that have been practicing with me for a long time, that are very proficient at it, with a whole other group of people that are practicing it. And then they all come out of their body able to target things in real time. And then documenting that, like properly documenting that into like some form of documentary.
That would be so trippy. Would people interface with each other outside of the body?
Well, it's already happened. Yeah, it's already. This is the. Yes.
What?
Yes. That's what. Jeez, that's why I started off small. I started off very small with getting people to focus on numbers, and because it's something that I did. I was like, you know, to prove to people, like inside my house. I was like, okay, let me show you. We did it 4 or 5 days in a row. They write a number, bam, bam, bam. And so I did it on a group scale, just to get people to realize that you can see real-time events. And when that was locked in a group setting, and they understood that they were actually seeing those numbers in the out-of-body state, well, that wasn't possible for them to not know unless they were out of their body actually physically seeing it. And then they come back, and then I'm like, okay, now we're going to expand this slowly. Yeah. Now we're going to go, you see? So, yeah, it's sort of, you progress it like that. And so then you get people that are able to slowly over time accurately see things happening in real time in the out-of-body state as well. And that's happened quite a lot, man. And so, I try to keep it a little bit suppressed a little bit, if that, it's not necessarily suppressing it, but not over promoting that in that way, because I'm very careful of how.
One of my teachers says what's sacred is also secret, and they sound similar for a reason. That's kind of what I'm getting from you.
So, yeah, because there's already lots of people. I'll just say a handful of people. So it's pretty remarkable. And I think I did say that in the beginning too of our chat. I said, you know, this is going to start a flame and a fire that will never be stopped. Like you can say you're gonna see a massive movement from this, because this literally is, when people realize this, and as people have in the group setting, I mean, this becomes unstoppable in that way, because then you have people that are accurately able to do this and perform this in a state of at will to demonstrate and show other people. And then that's where it continues and it continues and it continues. And I've done it that way. So I'm not necessarily I've created a mission around it. So I'm not the single head of the target, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's not just, Messiah kind of thing. The other interesting piece about that though is like, there's so many interesting pieces about that. But, and all of a sudden, if people collectively start to wake up to being beyond the boundaries of their own skin, I can't help but wonder what it does for these artificial state line boundaries and all this other random shit that we're like warring over and stuff, bro. Just do you know what I mean? Like that, for me, it's just like a big fat whitewater eraser going all over like some of that stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm being hella optimistic because I do run the risk of being like that, but I don't know.
No. It quite literally. If it's changed me, and it has changed other people too, to the point where I've dedicated my whole existence here to that, because I know that power of it, and people are experiencing it, and they're like, whoa, like this is what they're talking about, and they experience it. I mean, there's a group of people that are, and it's the reason why I was bringing up the names, because it's just like I want to make sure that people know
who these people are.
There's a group of people that are actually starting to do this very proficiently, and it should be recognized.
How long did it take them?
So sometimes it's, I think one of them, Stefano, for instance. Stefano's a good testimonial. It took him a few months to do it. There were some people it took them like a week, and another person took them a year. So it's all dependent based off, because it's like a practice. And then once you get it, you just get it, you know.
If you're going into sleep paralysis, are you getting rest in the night, or is it like you've got a day job and a night job now?
It does, when you do it a lot, this is why I drink salt water a lot. Which is, because it's like, the more that you do it, you tend to overload the central nervous system. And the only thing that I've found to mitigate that is salt water, or just targeting a certain thing, doing something for a week period of time, then taking 2-3 weeks off.
Rest.